Please note that the following views and the opinions expressed on this program are not necessarily the views nor the opinions of the Master Force Group, YouTube.com, Free America Radio Network, our sponsors, our partners, and MFG is a private society, and nothing here is ever to be construed as hate, medical, nor legal advice. And listen to the Forbidden History prime time 7 days a week right here on therealpublicradio.net, because hidden beneath the sands of time lies the greatest of all mysteries. It's the Forbidden History. Unearth for yourself the secret truths that lie hidden just beneath the surface below our feet. What is it that the powers that be do not want you or I to know? Come and journey with us as we explore and dare to know, because it's all right here, coming your way 7 days a week on therealpublicradio.net, Free America Radio Network. It's what they didn't want you to know that we tell right here. Still time to call your friends, ladies and gentlemen. Stand by for the broadcast.
Fair notice for the listener. This program is a workshop for our friends and family. There will be no grandstanding or large postings, nor other promotions, or you may be blocked from this chat. Thank you for your cooperation. And I'd like to welcome everybody to Ask Dezert-Owl on the Forbidden History series. I'm NinjaCat, and g'day. I just want to say g'day to Anna, and I don't think anybody else has popped up in the chat yet. Welcome everybody. Looking forward to an eye-opening program as usual, and a beautiful read. This is a live call-in program. We encourage people to call in with questions, comments, just to say g'day or give us an update, or if you're trying to figure something out. The number is 608 566 7295. That's 608 566 7295. Or you can Skype NinjaCat, all one word, NinjaCat, and look, just to make it easier to find, look for the white circle with a purple NinjaCat with a sword in it. And every first time caller will get a free gift, the Handbook of Christianity, one of Desert's transliterations, one of Desert's beautiful transliterations. You can find all of his books over on Amazon. We're also working on getting them up on other websites so that they're easily accessible, and we'll go more into detail during the program. But check out the links in the description. You can just search Dezert-Owl. Once you get onto the website, just search Dezert-Owl and all the books will pop up. They're absolutely beautiful. Okay, let's do this. Okay, in essence, Desert discusses the history of the world and how the unseen hand has been running it from the very beginning of recorded history, who they are and how they have founded all of the first great civilizations that are found all around the world, about who the giants really were, and the ancient Aryan caste and slave systems, the priesthoods, the anti-gravity V-manners, the earth-based misnomered UFOs, which are all man-made, the control of all forms of communications, commerce, religion, mass media, pseudo-politics, etc. It is the grand deception that is used to control all of mankind, and all instituted through the four main religions of the world in particular, and used as their grand cover. Their cybercode has been revealed to him because he has become adept within the study of the ancient alphabets, communications, symbolism, religion, custom, law, cosmology, and mythology, not to mention the fallacy of today's political science and pseudoscience in particular. He can also define the true nature of their warfare, their shell game of bringing one civilization up for their temporary use and then taking it down for the next 500-year generational cycle, as symbolized by the classical burning up of the phoenix. Desert discusses the ultimate in mind control and ancient art, and the financial control, the secret societies and their blood occult rituals, and how they wage all wars throughout all time through the nations that they have created, which are all imaginations, plantations, and mere corporations. They have taken blood oaths to surrender their self-will and mind to their blind goddess, who has demanded our blood from the very beginning of time. They communicate to their minions through the movies, TV, print media, and religion, while he can see, read, and interpret most all of it based on the ancient communication and symbol. It all says that they are using us for our ingenuity, for our collective constructive labour, for experimentation, and in the end they intend to kill us all. They have given us full notice of what they are doing and what they fully intend to do, while all of the general population, the sheeple, they merely go there to be entertained. The New World Order is the Old World Order from the very beginning of recorded history. There is a major cosmic natural disaster that is about to happen on Earth, and they know it because they have engineered all of it. Well, they are cleverly leaving us in the dark, hence the reason that they have built hundreds of underground bases all around the world, while they are leaving all of the people to remain unprepared, uninformed, and above ground, so that when it all comes, the mere 5% who will survive above ground will die from the weaknesses and disease that has been generated from all of the poisons that they have been feeding us, from the chemical aerosol spraying of our sky, to fluoride in the water, to tainted vaccines, to fake food, etc., etc. They have enslaved us all at birth by the clever means of deception, because we most all are their cattle, chattel, property, and because they merely wanted to harness our labour, what they always needed, which is what backs most of the world's currency through the birth certificate, a Wall Street security. But they are all through with us now, as it is written in stone, as it can be seen written in the Georgia Guidestones. It says we are a virus upon the earth. To know the truth is to be empowered and to be prepared. We may not be able to stop what has been done and what is about to happen, but the innocent and decent people on planet Earth deserve to know. And now, here's Dezert-Owl.
And welcome to the broadcast, ladies and gentlemen. It's a Sunday Morgan. The terminology mourning, they got us, they tricked us again. They want us to be in mourning. That's why I hear at least in America in English, the hooker, they get us on the hook of saying good morning when it should be actually Morgan or Morgain. So Morgan means more of the garden, which is we're in the lower garden, not the atom of Eden. The atom is the correct term for Eden, but we're in the lower garden, and so we got to look up if we want to see the real garden, which made all things in the solar system. And so it's Morgan or it's more gain, because we get one more opportunity when we rise with the sun to get it right, which is the greatest challenge, of mankind, is to get it right, to live right. And Anna's already got her questions fired up. I've got a few follow-up for you at the same time, Anna. So so appreciative of the interaction, because this is a caller-generated program, and the questions, I'm on overload, as you can tell. So it's not like I have any pending questions. I feel like the Father has really opened the door and unloaded a dump truck on me, and so it's still learning, still process of adventure. The discovery is a real adventure, and we've done some over the last week or two right here on the broadcast, and that's when it's really exciting when it happens right, with the friends, or just before the program coming on to share with everyone. So that's really a profound experience, and I know that the Father is in our favor when it comes to helping us in our struggle, our inner struggle, in our outer struggle, because we're not in any place of mediocrity anymore or complacency, but we're in an extreme emergency on our planet, because we know that there's a group of people that want to kill us, and and they hate our guts. They absolutely don't even consider us to be the terminology human being, is not really the correct term, because humus means of the earth, so we're not of the earth. They really hate what they're humus, they're of the earth, so they're human beings, but we're sentient beings, beings that are transcending, and therefore really, acknowledging the truth that we are spirit, and our spirit is simply in a cavity of a shell of a house. And but these people, it's funny, when I was doing my review yesterday, making sure I answered everybody's questions and all that, the pop-up, the program that it was offering me, on the side, another YouTube, I don't remember the name of the channel, but it was a Jew program, and I noticed they've been popping them up lately, and I don't even watch them. and then all of a sudden, like, because of the algorithm, because we've been talking about them, they're trying to feed me their bull, their papal bull, and so I found it interesting that the name of the program of this Jew, it was "Follow the Torah or Die." Okay, now that sounds like the Noahide law. So just like, in the other culture is Islam, either you bow down to Allah or die, have your head cut off. Now it's more apparent now with the Jews that you follow the Torah or die, right? So you got your options. You got, Talmudic Judaism, or you've got Islam, and so that's amazing how I guess or you could be a good Catholic. Of course, if you could be a good Catholic, you might be able to maintain yourself, because they're the one orchestrating those lower two factions. It's just it's the greatest show on earth. It's nothing is real. Like you'd want to be. Did you ever look at those people in Israel and they're wearing all black, right? Black hat, black overcoat, black pants, black shirts, everything black, right? And okay, I thought the scriptures said that we were to be clothed in white and that our white robes would not be spotted, right? But you see these people bobbing their heads against the wall like they're on some kind of drug or something, and they are on a drug. They're on some power trip that they're an insider. Well, yeah, we know we're claiming to be following Moses, but actually we're following Bagigan Wanda Shirashi's Hashish in Huglistan, and we're cleaning up this world. We're getting rid of all the goy, and then I'll be able to get my own island and just party and have a few slaves. Yeah, that's nice. And so it's just amazing how decency does not prevail. Decency is out the door. It's or like with the politicians, of course, it's do as we tell you, don't do as we do. It's like they're about as sick as it gets, and they're all Jews too. They're literally they've locked shop because they're the Vatican agents. They're the protectors and defenders of the Vatican Trust, as it says in the Catholic Encyclopedia. And the Vatican created Islam back in 600 AD or CE, Common Era, Christian era, and it was a Jesuit actually who came out and exposed all that. His name escapes me right now, but my friend who I used to interview all the time, his name is escaping me too now. I've been doing this for so long. Anyway, out of Florida, I got that right. I did a program with them, The Secret Terrorist, Bill Hughes, The Secret Terrorist. That was our Wednesday program. And Bill, had talked to this Jesuit and knew him. They killed him. He went to a dentist and they gave him some kind of injection, and then the rest, is history, as they say, ladies and gentlemen. But he was blown away when he was in a meeting with the Jesuits, and they then told how that the Catholic Church created Islam, and so that's when he quit. That's when he quit, because he realized it was all a scam. This religious thing was all a scam. Organized religion. Yeah, it's organized, all right. So it's such a tragic world, ladies and gentlemen, to see what's going on. The people, they have everything going for them. The big house, big job, big cars, big bank account, just everything, big family going, everything, just going smooth, but that to me, almost as seems like a curse. It would seem like it would be a curse because, to be in struggle, like most of the people on this program are in a type of a struggle. They're being persecuted, and they're they can't relax for a moment without some secret society piece of garbage playing another trick on them, following them, gang stalking them, giving them messages through their computer or their telephone or however, or through their head, through the, the surgeries that have occurred with people, that they have implants put in their head and they, hear voices and things of that nature. It is such a filthy, stinking, tragic world, ladies and gentlemen. And the good news is, it's not our world, and that's freedom. That's the good news, to know that we are beings that have a longevity that will last forever. The only question is, where are we going to go with that? Because if we're not married, that's the terminology, married to the light, then we will drift endlessly through space, because we can't go back. The sun is like the proverbial Stargate. The TV series and the movie was playing on that theme. It was playing on that theme, that and because they're imitators, they're good imitators. But you notice in the Stargate, whenever the Stargate had the water, and then they would go through the Stargate, then all of a sudden the male erection came right through that thing. That was the water, the water bulging out into the military room right there, and so they're playing the the sexual creation theme always. They're always playing the sexual creation theme, and realizing that most people will never get it, don't see it, but they do, because they're just in hog heaven over their sexuality and their great importance. But that'll be done real soon for all of them. Nobody can keep their own worthless hide alive, because the hide is worthless. But our soul is unestimable in value. What is your, like Yahshuah said, what is your life worth? What is your, would you want to gain the whole world and then lose your soul? Because you can't take it with you. You're not going to be here but for a hop, skip, and a jump, and you're gone. Hey, Kev, good to have you. And you were at the shop. Okay, well, glad you're back. And we just got started, so you haven't missed anything. And so we're just and Anna says you baptized yourself again on the 31st of December 2020. Okay, well, very good, very good. And because that's the other Stargate, the water, the lower water is a reflection of the higher water above. The lower sea, and then the Gaelic Sea. You see, there's that's the duality again. It's telling us over and over. One is a reflection of the greater. Okay, and well, only if you're asking me, have you received the Spirit, Anna? That is something that you have to know. Within yourself. If you'll have an experience when you receive the Spirit. What we do is we prepare ourselves, as the parable tells us, as a bride. We're preparing ourselves as a bride so that the bridegroom will receive us. Okay, so that's when the marriage happens, is when you receive the Spirit. That's what it's all about. Okay, and so keep reading in your scriptures, because that's when it's talking about the coming. In all the other parts of the scripture, that's what it's talking about. This is where it became confused in the minds of the Christian religions out there and the people, because of the propaganda that's being propagated by the Vatican, that there's a second coming, and it's coming somewhere in the future, where Yahshuah is going to sit on a temple throne in Jerusalem and all this nonsense. When he came back, that's his second coming. When he came back from the dead, what better comeback can there be than rising from the dead? I call him the comeback kid. That you can't have a better comeback than rising from the dead and having victory over death and destroying the curse on mankind, and then offering a way for transcendence. And so when he was taken up to the throne of the Son, and the two Essenes were standing there in white robes, where the other 100 people were watching, and they said, "You men of Galilee, why are you gazing up into the sky? Don't you know that the one who comes that just went up, he will come back in the same manner, meaning in the clouds, meaning in the mystery, because the clouds are the symbol of mystery. He went through the clouds and up to the sun, you see, but he comes back as spirit. He came the first time as flesh and blood, and he comes the second time as spirit. And it's so simple, to be able to recognize this simplicity of this story, but people have to complicate it, and they get all these other ideas thrown in, about rapture, or they don't know when the the end time was, because it happened 2,000 years ago. We talked about that on the program as well. That all of these ideas get convoluted because of false teaching. The one thing they all seem to have in common, though, they tell you that you're always going to be a worthless wreck. You're always going to sin, and you're never going to be able to put on that perfection. You see, and that's the lie. That's the lie, because he says the truth will set us free. He says that the servant will not abide in the house forever, but whosoever the seed of the Son will he will set free, will be free indeed. You see, and so that's what it's about. It's about being set free, and it's about being transformed into a perfect creation, a completed. In other words, when we came into the world, we're not finished. There's something else that we have yet to do. We're naked, as the proverbial Adam and Eve in the lower garden. We're naked. We're naked because we're not clothed. We're not clothed. We have not put on the spirit of light, and that spirit is light. The word, the Yahshuah, is spirit. It says these words are spirit. They are life. So these are simple precepts. I wasn't going to say concepts, precepts, but the perception is gone from people because they've been listening to so much false teaching. Okay, so and so Anna's got some questions there. I had a couple follow-ups that were geared towards her as well. She's been really coming out with some good questions for the programming here. I'm so grateful. But real quick, I want to back up to yesterday on the program, and want to welcome any new listeners out there as well. And Hillbilly Living, people were divided by language because they were getting too powerful. Now we have AI, no more language barriers. The end is near. Right, but it's not the original communication. The importance is the original communication, and in other words, what was breathed into Hadam, and that's the Indo-Germanic. In fact, I think that was Anna. That was your first question. So so anyway, let me go into. I was talking about the icons of Egypt, and the pyramid that's in Rome, and the pyramid on the back of the dollar bill. I said, is the pyramid in Rome. It's not the Gizar pyramid or any of the other pyramids from Mezar. Mezar being the correct term for Egypt. And so I referred to a quote in a book that I had found. And what happened, I was still in West Virginia, because I know I said the quote incorrectly, and I wanted to correct it. I had it backwards, basically, regarding Phoenicia and Egypt. But while I was still in West Virginia trying to escape, the pirates and the establishment that were doing a number on me and some other people, and I couldn't leave without all my books, my library, and so it was quite a deal I had to go through. But a lady came over from Ohio and picked me up and took me to her place for a couple of weeks to just have a break from that persecution. And in the process, she took me to a bookstore, and I knew when I got in that bookstore, I was going to find a book, that was significant. I don't know why I had that feeling, but I just did. And so I went and looked. It was a used bookstore, so I love books because they're sometimes older and sometimes rare. And so anyway, I looked down on this shelf, looking. Then all of a sudden I saw the Pillar of Fire, And so I went ahead and pulled that thing off the shelf, and I opened the page, opened the book, and the very first page had a gem right on the first page that is significant in describing what they're doing in this occult, the occultic rituals that they have, with the pyramids, with the phoenix, with you know, the switch outs, all of these things. So anyway, when I said yesterday that as long as Egypt, I can't remember now for sure, so I'm not even going to try to paraphrase myself. But anyway, the quote was this. Okay, as long as Egypt lives, Phoenicia will not die. And that's the quote. That's the correct quote. As long as Egypt lives, Phoenicia. And so I had that reversed because I was saying as long as Phoenicia lives, Egypt will not die. But it's Phoenicia. So the Phoenicia is a, you know, Phoenicia is a, like with the Phoenicians, is a code also for the word phoenix. So the phoenix is in there. And but also there's a, you can see the in the word Phoenician, the term, I'll type it in there because it's worth looking at, you know, so to see it. Let me do that. And so hold back on any texting right now on the chat. Phoenican. Did I spell it right? Phoenician, no. Phoe. Okay, forget Oenican. Maybe that's it. No, that's okay. You know, they spelled the words in their own code, so it's, oh, there it is. I got it. Okay, which is okay, I'll do it like this. Boom. Okay, got that. And then it means the flow nations. So Phoenicians, I should have made it plural. The flow nations. So you can see foe. The L is a secret vowel. That's why it's called, they are called vowels because they took a vowel to the L. So the secret vowel, you know, you put it in and then you get part. So isn't that what they did on the high seas? They flowed, they rode, they used their sails, they traveled the world, and the flow nation. So nation is a corruption on nation, but nation correctly, Nashan, you know, like that. There's nation. The flow nation, they are the Ashan, the Ashan that came down, which were originally known as, we referred to as the Celtic, which were the redhead spotted, the children of Cain with the stain of blood. They were the Phoenicians, they were the Canaanites, but Canaanite is a corruption also. It's Ganunite, Ganun is the garden at high noon, but it's interesting then they put that night on the end of it and turned it into darkness, right? Ganunite, the garden at high noon at night. Go figure, right? That's the trick outs they play. So as long as Egypt lives, Phoenicia will not die. So, you know, we look at the legal system that we have in America today. You know, they call Washington the ship of state. You know, the ship of state, and that everything is in capital letters, and anything in capital letters, according to the U.S. style manual, is a vessel. Okay, like the Titanic, SS Titanic has it in all capital letters. That's called Phoenician alphabet. They call it the Phoenician alphabet, but it's actually the Aramaic alphabet. Okay, and so anyway, the point is that they're living. In other words, I read one day in a book, and it said that all of the people of the world were claiming the land, right? Different peoples claimed this part of the world, always on land, right? But it said that there was one culture that claimed the sea, that claimed the ocean, and that's referring to the Phoenicians. So like when we see in Freemasonry, when they take their blood oaths, you can see that they are pirates, right? Because it's all on the ocean, you know, and if they betray their brother, one another, they're going to bury them at the low tide in the rough sand, you know, after they slit their throat or whatever. But, you know, this whole idea of, you know, the piracy, like the word treason, you know, that's the tree's sons. Treason, the ones who commit treason are the tree's sons. Why are they the tree's sons? Because you have to cut a tree to build a ship. And so they were the sons of the trees. Okay, you see how they thought back then in ancient time. And so anyway, that's what they're doing. So in our law today, we see that the Admiralty battle flag is in the courtrooms, and the Admiralty battle flag means that when you cross the bar, which represents the sandbar, in a metaphor, in symbolism, then you cross the bar, you're now in England, and because that's where the legislative rule comes from, and then goes further into back to the Vatican. But so it's an admiralty law system but it's a mix. It's like a chimera. It's a mixture of a lot of different animals, but in the primary sense, because admiralty is the dominant legislative rule, um, but yet it is also based on contract. You got on the ship, you agree to our terms and condition. But we never agreed to the terms and conditions at this fascist state, as we see the berserker battle axe on both sides of the speaker podium, right? They they're telling us right in our face, and we can't read the symbols, that they're fascist, that this is a fascist nation, just like Germany, just like Rome, right? We could probably imply the same with Greece as well. They were all experiments in their own time, because like they called America the Great Experiment, right? And I always thought, oh, that's weird. I don't think freedom is an experiment. You're saying freedom is an experimentation? No, but now we know what they mean, right? That we were their experiment, we're their chattel property. They played the games on us and do experiments the way they want to perfect their mind control, to perfect their injections, right? You know what I mean? And all of that stuff. They're now using us as the experiment, in fact, right? But it's really not an experiment, because they know what they're doing. They're wanting to commit genocide, and so there's nothing about treatment. It's about doing away with people, and it's the second one that is the kicker, because the first one develops the first VACCINE. Oh, it's not. It's actually an injection treatment. Will set up the groundwork for a response that the body is going to attack it in the second go round in 3 weeks, and that will create a shutdown of your physical capacity. At best, if it works right the way they plan it, then it'll stretch out a little bit. But basically, people are dropping like flies right now. It's about 1,000 people a day. Okay, about 1,000 people a day over that are now being injured, with about 20% of them, give or take, on the ratio, dying. So about 80% of the 1,000 are extremely ill, and then about 20% are dying, and so it's real tragic. So I know I've gone in different directions here, but the point is that these creeps, okay, that say that Egypt lives because Egypt is their first home office. Well, that built the pyramid civilizations around the world through the ancient Aryan Brahmin that were based out of India, but Egypt was the front office at the time. So now they're operating out of the Vatican. And most people don't know the Vatican had its own navy at one time. They had its own navy. They had their own military, and just like the Knights Templars, who converted then into Freemasonry. The Knights Templars are still here today. They just changed their names and faces. They betrayed all the little puppy dogs. They were the ones who were tortured by the French king, who then rounded them all up on Friday the 13th, and then tortured them and got them to confess to something, whether or not they did it. I'm sure a lot of them were innocent, because the puppy dogs are the ones who get betrayed. That's the ever flipping coin. Then the real bad ones, the real ones that were the occultists and the child molesters and the bankers, then they get away with the money, and while their friends got tortured and burned, and so that's why the sea culture is the dominant culture on the planet, because they're the ones that go into every port. They're the ones that were then the intelligentsia spreading information from one port to another. They can go back to Gandhi, Wandi, Rashish, Hashish, and say, this is what's going on in the world. Here's the news, and that's how it operated. So they were the superior force, but they were working for the unseen hand. They were not the head. They were still the tail, and anyway, so I wanted to share that. The thing about the book, though, the the pillar of fire, singular. It should be the pillars of fire. Not, you see, he didn't put the name right. This book goes back to 1859, but it should be the pillars of fire because there's two of them. One is represents the sun, one represents the moon. Okay, so just wanted to revisit that. It's been a long time since I looked at that book. I never did read it. It was a story back in Medecine in Egypt and all that, but I just didn't want to spend a lot of time with it. It didn't look like it had that much. That was enough. You know, that one little gem in the front page was enough for me to realize that that's why they keep this, they say that the phoenix flies back to Egypt every 500 years. Well, it was 500 years ago when Columbus made the phony discovery of America. And now the phoenix is flying back to Medecine, to Egypt. And it's been 500 years and America's going down. That was the plan. That was the plan. So they laid a blueprint through Francis Bacon, also used the pen name of William Shakespeare, and he laid out the plan for the feathered serpent, Meroku, the Toltec god Meroku, the feathered serpent, which is the phoenix. Symbolically, in disguise, it's an eagle, but it's really a phoenix, and it's also a vulture, and it's like a chimera as well. It's more than one creature. And you got to read the symbolism. And so I've got one more, and Anna, I hadn't forgot you yet. Hang in there. I just wanted to take care of business first with get some of these books off my desk. And so I have another example out of the original gospel. I gave two of them about the devil, showing that the devil, these ideas of what when we think of some creature